Moving is a big decision. Selling or buying a home in any market, but especially today's, can raise a lot of questions. Hi, I'm Amy with Killingsworth Realty. My husband Todd and I serve the Coweta and local area. Our purpose at our first meeting is to learn your goals, answer questions, and provide resources so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. 678-525-0047 to schedule a free consultation today to discuss your real estate needs. You don't have to do this alone.
You're walking, shopping, or on your favorite trail. You get that feeling somebody's coming up on you. What do you do to be prepared in today's world? Hi, I'm Holly Reese. I'm the founder of Warrior Defenders. As a certified tactical self-defense instructor, I'm specializing in women's self-defense. All women of all ages have the ability to learn how to defend themselves effectively. With technical drills to build their survival skills, you can be your own hero. Classes and private seminars are available. Learn today to have a safer tomorrow. WarriorDefenders.com.
This is Margie from Connecting Hearts Network. I'd like you to take just a moment and listen to Linda Kirkpatrick explain to you what Family Patterns Matters is all about.
Family Patterns Matter works with youth and their families to help overcome barriers that prevent their success. We meet twice a month with mentoring, tutoring, teaching life skills, resilience, gratitude, and kindness. We also bring music and art therapy. Please visit our website at www.familypatternsmatter.org.
Hello, I'm Pina Payne with Contour Mortgage, and we're so excited. We have just moved to this new company, and we are located at 560 Noonan Crossing Bypass in Noonan next to Art and Jake's, and we have some great products. Our interest rates are better than any other companies, and we also have some great products for the VA. We can do a better deal for you with fees than any other company. We have a lot of different kind of programs.
Shopping for insurance doesn't have to be stressful. I'm Christy, owner of Ellsworth Insurance, located here in Noonan, Georgia. We are an independent agency with access to multiple carriers for home, auto, life, health, and commercial insurance. We are your one-stop shop for your insurance needs. www.insurewithellsworth.com, 770-755-7053. We look forward to meeting you soon.
It's now time for Heart to Heart Radio, presented by Connecting Hearts Network, connecting women to one another and resources. Now here's your host, Margie Conway.
I am Margie Conway, and this is the Connecting Hearts Network program. Linda Kirkpatrick is no stranger to our program. You have heard her with many guests over the last year and a half and on her own. She is the director and founder of Family Patterns Matters, which is our nonprofit of choice that helps at-risk kids. They help at-risk kids by group meetings, tutoring, mentoring, and finding out where the kids are in their circumstances and helping them learn resiliency and other attributes that help them rise above where they are. They've had great success in the several years that they've been working and have given scholarships to kids graduating from their program, and even had some young adults come back to help mentor others after they had successfully moved on. We really have to invest in our kids. They are the future, which, the corny sayings all go, but it's true. And sometimes, like adults, many of us adults do, kids will be in a circumstance and they won't know of any way that they can rise above it. They will think, well, this is all that has ever happened in my family and I can't do any different. But we know different than that. We know from experience and from seeing other people that with the right foundation and support system being built behind them, they can step out and do great things. So we want to step up and help these kids as much as possible. Family Patterns Matters is having a fundraising fashion show. They are doing that on September the 17th, Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. at the Greenville Street Park in Noonan, Georgia. The kids will all be given a budget and be allowed to select an outfit, which they will keep, that will help them for school or whatever it is they need it for. And they will have a fashion show for us in the park. We have a lot of great vendors coming out. We have some great sponsors. I know we have Christy Ellsworth with Ellsworth Insurance and Joe Wilson with Hillcrest Chapel. Of course, Connecting Hearts Network will be there to support them as well as many others in our community. It will be a great afternoon for you to come out and find out more information about Family Patterns Matters and what it is that they do, but also meet other people that's very active in our community in many different ways. So we hope that we'll look forward to seeing you there. I have a taped interview from my friend Linda that we are going to play that tells you a little bit more about Family Patterns Matters. And at the end of it, I'll join you again for a little new update on what's going on in every direction. So listen in at this time.
So today, our special guest is Linda Kirkpatrick from Family Patterns Matters. Hi, Linda. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to talk about your projects, and I hear that you had something great going on last night. You want to tell us about it?
Yes. Well, COVID has kind of put a damper for the last 2 years, and Family Patterns Matter. Our purpose is to address issues that youth have to finding their success,
Yes.
and it can be kids from 11 to 17, and we bring them all together in what we call Youth in Action. We listen to what they have to say, and then we determine what we need to do to help them, or to help them figure out what they can do to make their life easier.
Right.
Of course, parents have to be part of this scenario as well, and we invite our parents to come to the meetings if they need to. If they feel comfortable being there. The kids so far have not had a problem with parents being there, which is awesome.
Great.
Because one of the things they did say is, adults in our life don't listen to us.
Right. I understand that.
Yep, they're too busy. They brush it off. They say, that's just you kids of today. That's just youth. But we know that it's more than that, and they need to be heard.
Absolutely. I've worked in classrooms in middle school and ran a daycare center, children's ministry, and I get the same thing from the kids that I'm talking to. They don't believe that they're being listened to. A lot of times they feel like they're the only one that's going through anything that they may be going through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And one of the big topics is bullying.
Oh, right.
And, a lot of the kids that we have are those kids that don't fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our target. We want them to fit in. So they fit in Family Patterns Matter. And they fit in the youth group, and they can come, and they will be shy. But the next thing you know, they're blossoming, they're raising their hands, they're talking. And getting back to last night, we were gifted a lot of hamburger meat.
Oh.
So we did a grilled hamburger dinner. And me, in my ultimate wisdom, forgot the hamburger meat.
Uh-oh.
So,
hamburgers.
So I had to call my husband, and he graciously brought the meat. And it was 30 minutes from where we live to where we have our meetings. But it was great. So we started out with vision boards last night. And we do that frequently because we want to know how our kids are doing.
Right.
What they're doing. If they have questions, we answer them. And so they did the vision boards, and then after that, we laminated them so they could take them home and put them on a bulletin board or next to their bed or something. But they were so interactive, and that's what we want. They build teams. A team leader will, just say, okay, I can handle that, and then he gets this little team behind him, or she, and they do wonderful. They ask questions throughout the meeting, and our meeting is only for an hour and a half, but sometimes that's even too long.
Oh, right. It's hard to keep attention sometimes if they're not there.
Yes.
I know our children's ministry, I do the middle schools on Wednesday nights, and boy, they were wired. It was really difficult to get their attention. So we finally had to adapt And we were talking about Jesus, and if it was social media in Jesus' time, how viral would his videos go?
Wow.
And so we had them do an impromptu unboxing, which was Kool-Aid, but it worked. But sometimes you just have to be flexible when you're dealing with the kids. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we'll do is, because of the lateness of the hamburgers, we started the vision boards first, and then we completed the vision boards. And you can see when they're getting antsy.
Mm-hmm.
So our next thing was, we're going to be doing a vegetable garden.
Oh, wow.
So I read them a little story, not the whole thing. We're going to do that all along. The Curious Garden. And if you haven't read it, it's awesome. Even though it's meant for younger children, it's great. And we told them, this is why we're doing it, and we're doing it because we want you to be part of the planning, a part of the building, part of the cultivating, the harvesting, the cooking, and then giving vegetables to those in need. So they all understood that. We told them about how we could make fertilizer by taking a banana peel and putting it in water, and when the water turns brown, you take the banana peel out, you pour that in a jug, and then you do another banana peel. That gives potassium.
Oh.
Then the other thing is saving your coffee grounds.
I knew the coffee, but I didn't know the banana
And
peel.
I think eggshells as well is one of them,
that.
and so we've asked them to save all of that, and we're going to start that next month.
Right.
And, we're asking for donations, of course, for the garden because we are a nonprofit. And we've got a couple of the Lowe's and actually Home Depot. I don't know if I can say that, but they're helping us. And then we have great volunteers with Family Patterns Matter. So, it's just seeing the kids open up. I have a passion for kids. I love working with them. Just to see them blossom. Some of our kids have been with us since they were like 6 and 7 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and now they're 13 and 14.
That's a great.
And just to watch the different stages of their life. Most of them are being raised by grandparents or single parents, and but they come and they're happy. We help them if they're doing poorly in school. We offer free tutoring, and it's one-on-one because we believe that if you get to know the child, they're going to open up. You're going to figure out how they learn because we know all kids don't learn the same.
That's true. I know that as I've dealt with kids in the classroom and this, you have to do everything to hit all the learning styles for them to be able to pay attention. And like you were talking about, when you can tell if they're getting antsy, you move on to something else. So that is just great skills to have when you're leading them. Not everybody likes to deal with children. I know one lady I've talked to recently says she'll do art therapy with anybody, but not any kids if she can help it. My biggest thing, and yes, I serve women in what I'm doing, but I expect adults to act like adults and kids to act like kids. I don't expect the adults to act like the children.
Yes, that is a problem.
So it's a little easier dealing with the children because even if they have the behavior, that something's under it, but that's where they're at. They're just not mature enough past it.
Right. And what we know, children learn from their adult role models. So if there is not a great role model or a father figure within the household, we don't try to become that parent or whatever, but we try to give them the guidance that they need. We have a couple of our board members are mentors, and they just do things like taking the kids out for lunch or to the movies, or just a talking day for about an hour or something, just so they know somebody cares about them and we listen to them. And that's so important to our kids today because they truly are struggling.
They are. Just talking with my 13-year-old granddaughter, they have so much more they're exposed to than we ever were when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And what they're taught in schools. I mean, everything, when we have a conversation, I'll say, why do you believe that? She said, well, that's what they said at school. And then we'll talk about her own values and beliefs.
Right.
And it's important that they have somebody to do that with.
Well, and they need to understand that you don't have to be the one that shines and does everything, and you definitely don't want to be a follower. Excuse me.
because you need to be you.
Right.
And everybody is unique. And nobody should be able to take that uniqueness away from them. And if they learn that early,
right,
they will grow up to be a contributing person to our community and to our world. And that's what we want them to know. And we also want them to know, what is it you want to be? Part of our program is teaching them and helping them understand that what's going to happen after high school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to graduate high school? And if you're not doing well, what can we do to help? A lot of kids aren't a good fit for college,
right?
But we're going to be introducing technical skills to them, and we're going to have somebody coming to talk to them about that. We try to hit on the topics that we know are important to them, but they can't be boring.
Right.
You know, there has to be interaction. Everybody that comes to speak, I say, you know what? Don't be monologue. Don't be, this is what you have to do. Interact with them and hear what they have to say. You know, in April is Financial Literacy Month, and we have someone coming from Ameris Bank to teach them about financial literacy. And I've told them, now it can't be boring. You know, it's got to be fun.
All right, I need to come to that class. What's the date?
We haven't set the date yet. But, you know, it's like nobody wants to learn about finances, but the thing of it is, most of our kids are from low income.
Right.
And they know how difficult it is for their parents to make the ends meet. So we try to teach them, hence the garden.
Right.
This is a way to get fresh vegetables and not have to pay the outlandish price that we're having to pay in the grocery store. You know, if you can do a menu, you can do it on a budget.
Right.
And we also teach them that food stamps are nothing to be ashamed about, because food stamps are for the working poor.
That's true.
And we are going to give you ways to fill in those dry spells, because a lot of people say, you know, at the end of the month, you know, what do I do?
Right. And, you know, growing up, we didn't, if there was too many money struggles in my grandmother's house, I wasn't made aware of that.
Yeah.
But there were other struggles in our house. And where you talk about having somewhere to go and someone to live with them, my sanctuary was school. They put me in a Christian school so that I would have a good educational background, but it also gave me a good foundation in Christ that carried me through. And but then I know when we left my grandmother and Mom and I went out on our own, then there was, you know, some struggle with finances. And so I do remember that. But the two influences that I had at that time is there was a local church down the street that had a youth program, so I got involved with that youth program, which took the place of my school. And then there was a mentorship program that popped up one summer from Mercer University, and you had to reach certain guidelines to get in there. And I wasn't big on telling anybody, hey, my dad's in prison, and here's this and here's that. But I ended up in this program, and at 15 and 16, they were teaching us how to do audio and video recording and programming. And I had never even thought about it until just recently, but I ended up doing the video and audio at the church for ages, and now we're doing this. So you never know what they're getting now that they will carry long term.
Well, and that's the importance of what Youth in Action does.
Yeah. And so it is kind of like with my own children now, we did struggle. It was really a struggle to keep the bills paid and everything. So they understood that you have to watch what you're doing. I don't think we ever planted a garden because I tend to kill plants, and it wouldn't be very healthy education. But it's, you know, they learned how to manage money. So then when they got older, they knew, you know, you don't have to run out and get everything. But the funny story about that is when my grandmother sold her house, she gave each of my kids $100 to buy what they wanted. My son asked for 25 more and went and bought the latest Nike air pumps when they first came out. My daughter took her 100 and she bought this pair of tennis shoes and this doll and this, and then she got a lot more for her money than he did. And within a week, his tennis shoes were broken because they wouldn't pump up anymore.
Wow.
So they had to learn things like that. Yeah.
Well, you know, part of what we're doing is we're exposing our kids to a lot of different things. We have a little farm that we're going to go to part of the summer, and we're going to have a picnic there, and the kids are going to interact with, the animals and nature, and then we're going to do art by the pond. We have somebody that's offered that to us, and we're actually taking the kids to a thrift store, and they're going to get to pick out an outfit, and then we're going to do a fashion show.
Oh, that'll be great.
And they need to understand, you know what? It's okay to buy your clothes here because they're nice clothes. A lot of them are name brand, and people aren't going to know unless you tell them.
I love to go thrift store shopping.
Well, I do too. I do too. I just like to go and look and see because you never know what you're going to find. But, our kids, they have to be exposed to a lot of different things because a lot of them, and like you mentioned, a lot of them have families that are dysfunctional, maybe in prison, maybe not working, maybe have some kind of addiction. They may have had to move from place to place to place.
Right.
They don't understand. They don't have that support network. And if they do have a family that's providing, everything they need, that family person that is their role model may be so tired when they come home from work and then cleaning house and all of that. They don't have time to listen to them. And so that's why we also talk with the parents and say, it is, even if it's 5 minutes, listen to them for 5 minutes because they will cherish that time. Kiss them goodnight when they go to bed.
Yes.
Say a prayer with them. I'll tell you, God is good. God has guided me every step of my life. And now that I'm 73 and I'm doing this, I know this is what He had planned for me. And, I'm a little different than other nonprofits. I don't like to have a lot of the overhead.
Right.
So, I went on a hunt for a free space.
That's good.
Yes, and we were gifted a fellowship hall, and they have renovated the fellowship hall, and the kids walked in yesterday. It was the first time in about a month they had a meeting, and they said, "Oh my goodness, wow!" And you know what? It just makes life different.
It does.
And then we took them outside to look for where we're going to plant the garden, and then we told them how to, do the things that I said earlier about the fertilizer, and then we told them, we want you to let us know one plant that you want to plant in the garden, and then you're going to be responsible for that plant. And so we're excited about what we're doing. We have new people come and want to be part of it, which is so important. We're small, but what we do is incredible.
Oh, it is. It's very important. And I didn't share my story with a lot of people early on. And when I moved down here to Noonan, nobody knew me or knew anything. And when I started in that middle school ministry, at first, all the kids, they were upper middle class and it was there. And then some came in that were having some family difficulties and things. So one day I told them about my dad.
Yeah.
Not details, because they definitely didn't need that. But I told them, here's what I grew up with, a dad who had alcohol, drug addictions and was in and out of prison. And I had a mom who had some mental health conditions. And so it was rough, being a kid. Yeah. And one of them just stopped and was like, "You grew up in that?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, I did. And let me tell you how I made it out."
Yeah.
And it took a while to make it out because I didn't have something like this, at that point to lead through. So I think it is so important to pour into our kids, especially the ones that are a little bit at risk and need a little bit more attention.
Well, they do. And we have a couple of things we do throughout the year, but one of our biggest things is Christmas for the children.
Oh, yeah.
And we make sure that those kids that their parents haven't signed up for, a lot of the gifts that are given out in the community, haven't done that, and then we give the kids something that they have asked for. Now, they never ask for the real expensive things, but they have asked for bicycles, which I say, yes, they're going to be outside riding them, but don't forget the helmet.
Right, absolutely.
And it's wonderful. Last year, because of COVID and the tornado, we helped 150 children.
Wow.
And that was, I think it was, probably just 50 families, but they wouldn't have had anything. And, and just for them to be able to, even if it's just a stocking full of stuff, we want them to have something and say, hey, I'm not forgotten.
Right. And it's important. You're saying, that was just 50 families. It wasn't, that many families or anything. But I think every little small ripple goes out and beyond what we do.
That's what we say. The ripple in the pond carries on forever.
Right.
And we say, if you're in a child's life, even for a short time, they're going to remember. And even if they go down the wrong path for a little bit, they're going to remember that somebody cared about them.
That's true.
And it is so important to our kids today. I mean, just watching them struggle with life, it breaks our heart. But my volunteers are incredible. I have to say, my son came and did the hamburgers for us last night.
Oh, that's a good help.
Oh, yeah. And he said, Mom, how could you have grilled these hamburgers and done everything else? I said, Michael, that's why you're here. God is good.
That's it. Absolutely.
And he said, I had so much fun doing that. And I said, well, I thank you so much for coming.
Right.
I have 7 children. So, I was blessed.
Oh, yes. Many, many blessings.
Yes. And all of my kids are incredible. And the one thing that we taught our kids was be kind.
Absolutely.
Be kind, be kind, be kind. And that's what we're teaching these kids. And then the next step is be respectful of others. Let them know that they are important, because we're letting you know you're important, and we expect you to carry that out. And
if they could see me, I'm nodding my head yes, because that's what I even tell the adults that I deal with. We need to be kind and we need to be respectful of others, because I think it's a lot of what's wrong with our society right now.
Well, it is, and when the parents do come, it's great for them to see the interaction.
Right.
And then they know, hey, I really do need my kids to be here, because it's different. We're different from a lot of groups. It's free. We offer guidance, and we offer speakers, and we offer I can't even go into the plethora of things that we do. In fact, I'm having a planning session after this to plan our next few meetings, and we don't want our kids to be bored.
Right.
We don't want them to feel singled out.
Right.
We don't want them to sit alone.
Right.
And we explain to them, if you see somebody at school that's by themselves, even if it's just say, hey, how are you doing? Or can I sit with you? And then tell them about our group, because we want our group to grow. I mean, it's big, but we want it bigger. And
how do you get referrals for the children? How do they find out about you?
You know what? I think social media and kids may mention it, and the school knows about us because we contact the schools. We also work with the Department of Juvenile Justice, and we work with public housing. And we just, some of the kids, like I said, the schools have sent them, they know we have tutoring. So that's kind of how they come. Or they hear about us. If they see us in the newspaper or something, they will call us. But it's just incredible. We want our kids to be successful, and that's why we do this. And even, our philosophy is one child can change a generation.
Absolutely.
And that's part of our mission statement, changing a generation. Working with the parents makes the children's homes healthier.
Right.
And that's what we're striving for, healthy homes. And like I said, it's wonderful. We have visitors come and see us all the time. And I had Pastor Jimmy Ellison came from Noonan City Church.
Okay, I knew the name somewhere.
Yes, and he said, wow, Linda, wow. And I said, thank you so much for coming. I said, more people need to know about us. And I said, just tell people what we're doing. Let them know that we care.
And that is very important. I know I have seen you on social media. I've heard about Linda Kirkpatrick a long time before I ever met her. But we have a mutual friend that introduced us. And, I do want to get involved and help, but if you have people that's listening that wants to know how they can help you, what can they do?
They can they can actually go to our website, which is familypatternsmatter.org.
Okay.
Or they can email us at familypatternsmatter@gmail.com. And remember, there's an S behind patterns, but not behind matter. And, or, they can call me, 404-9024. We love volunteers. We love people that want to help us. We are having a fun fundraiser on the 31st, which is at what is it called? Black Bear Axe Throwing.
Right.
Yes.
And my husband and I will be there.
Yeah. We do very small fundraisers, but it's for two reasons: to help people know who we are and to raise a little bit of money to help with what we're doing with our youth and their families.
Oh, and that's invaluable. There could not be enough money to make up for what you're investing in these children.
Right.
So personally, I really respect that and appreciate it so very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We have a few more minutes, so if there is a message that you would like to send out to families, the mothers and the dads that might be listening, what would that be?
It would be, there is someone out there who cares. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Absolutely.
And most of all, love your children.
Right.
And listen to them.
Listen to them. Let them know. I mean, if you just get on eye level, just sit with them. Even if it's a few minutes, it makes a world of difference to the children.
Yes.
Right. I appreciate you coming today and spending time with me.
Thank you so much for asking me.
Well, we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff around noon and coming up. We have our bags going out at Gypsy Junkers. Linda has been passing them out all over town. We have some bracelets in Creative Hearts Studios Matter, so when you purchase one of them for $15, the money goes straight to Linda for this. I'm going to ask her if she has any list or an Amazon wish list or anything that's going on that she needs that she lets us know, and we'll post about that to see if we can get it up.
Thank you.
And just like I tell you all the time when I end this broadcast, is I'm on the corner of Spring and Perry Street inside Happy Life, and some people not quite sure where that is, but you go to Perry Street and open those doors and yell Margie, and eventually I'll come out and say, here I am, what do you need and how can we talk to you?
Give you a little more information from Family Patterns Matters. They were founded in 2013 in Coweta County, Georgia, and they decided to start a youth-based development organization. How would this work? By working with parents and other adults in the child's life. The Family Patterns Matters team can work with those in our community to design a strategic plan that looks at barriers families and youth are facing that prevents their success. We look at generational patterns in the families and for solutions to issues that prevent them from having their success. We have a youth in action program, which is the group meetings that our children involve in, and youth in action is important. Why is it important? Excuse me. A critical part of a child's life is having a supportive caregiving system. Children living in poverty often lack quality schools, transportation, or safe places to play. Youth involved with the Department of Juvenile Justice are living in public housing. Single-parent families are at risk for failing. Reading at grade level, graduating high school, and on-the-job training, technical or college plans are goals they need to learn how to make to be successful in life. Family Patterns Matter believes that listening to the youth, they gain insight and they're instrumental in finding effective solutions to address the family issues that each of those children are facing. The focus is on youth and families and how do we make a difference. In Youth in Action, we bring preteen and teen perspectives in defining issues that impact their life. The truth of a troubled teen. Youth offenders are often asked tough questions facing all of us. What is the dynamics of their family? How are they around gangs, drugs, violence, or school dropout rates? Can generational issues be seen in these families be the cause of their at-risk behaviors, or their social contacts they made? How can we end these cycles? Grandparents raising grandchildren is a growing family dynamic. Listening to the grandparent and the child gives insight into their needs for support. We have the power to make this the best generation of mankind in the history of the world, or to make it the last. That is a quote from John F. Kennedy. Our mission is to impact these families through training, education, and community resources. Family Patterns Matters has constructed a team that works together to be able to find programs, find funding for these programs, and implement them into the children's lives. Linda, of course, is the founder and the director. We have some great people on our board, of which I am one, and we appreciate everything that all of our volunteers do to help us with these kids and these patterns. When we talk about Family Patterns Matters, we just talked about some of their youth group meetings that they have. We also have mentoring. So we have special mentors who are vetted and go through an application process to be able to work with our children. Mentoring is very important for children, and especially those who may be at risk from their circumstances. Parents should be role models for their children. Mom and dad should consistently set a strong example for the children about how to live a principled life as contributing members of society. A child's role model could also be a relative, a grandparent, or even a person unrelated to them, such as athletes or celebrities, or our local mentoring team. Children observe and mimic the people they love and revere. They want to live a life of a role model they see because they think that they are well-liked, happy, and successful. Many of times, the children do not have positive role models with their family. They do not have that with adult parents, so grandparents end up raising the children alone. Or they do not have that with one parent, so we end up with single-parent families. It's hard out there, folks, for people to be able to make a living with two-parent households and kids. And it's hard for grandparents to be able to go just on their own without raising the grandkids. So when you change that and mix it up, it adds levels of stress to the family that we need to learn how to help so that everyone can be successful. Similarities between mentors working for risk youth programs and role models overlap. Mentors take a much more active part in the life of a child. For example, a mentor develops a trusting and empathetic relationship with the child or teenager by having sincere conversations, providing advice on issues they're coping with, and clearly explaining that doing the right thing is better than doing the wrong thing. Mentoring programs like ours are designed to maximize the youth's full potential by providing specially trained mentors who know how to create these relationships with this youth and create positive impacts on their life. Research over the past decade indicates that mentoring programs can promote positive outcomes in their life regardless of their age, ethnicity, or gender. Connecting vulnerable kids with at-risk programs has been shown to be a valuable strategy for reducing and preventing problematic behaviors and juvenile problems that carry over into their adult lives. Other studies have found that significant decreases in the arrest rates and arrest numbers following a 2-year examination of different programs for teens. Mentoring programs for kids should offer the following benefits, like Family Patterns Matters. Their benefits are to improve the attitude and motivation towards school and participation in school activities. Our mentors work to reduce the risk of dropout rates and increase the risk of graduation rates. Our mentors work with the kids to enhance their self-confidence, self-esteem, and sense of worth. They encourage them to actively take steps towards improving relationships with their parents, grandparents, guardians, and peers. It improves their self-control and behavioral responses to stress at home and in school. And it decreases the likelihood of abusing drugs and alcohol by resisting peer pressure. Mentoring programs perform an assessment on each child enrolling to determine what type of mentor and relationship the child would most benefit from. Some kids respond well to a one-to-one, more structured relationship they receive from interacting with one adult. Other kids respond better to programs involving adults providing support in group frameworks. These differences are often associated with the environment in which the kid develops. Kids coming from families troubled by poverty, substance abuse disorders, and mental illness typically need one-on-one mentor relationships due to having learning disabilities and complex problems. The role of a mentor is to work with the kids independently or in their groups at their school or community center, and a lot of times we use Barnes and Noble. And as the rapport between them strengthens, they may be able to go to a restaurant or a museum or other events and locations allowed by programs. Of course, the mentors always meet with the guardians of the kids and regularly update them on the progress the child is making and to find out if the child's behavior has improved at home. You can find mentoring programs all over the United States and anywhere that this might be listened to. Here in Noonan, we of course have one in the school system, and then we have Family Patterns Matters that's available to work with your youth. I can tell you from coming in a home that had a lot of things that one of my mentors was a school teacher that I had. And I even have a picture in a yearbook of hugging that teacher, because our teachers mean a great deal to them. But nowadays, our teachers are more stressed with all the regulations and everything that's coming around from the kids themselves, that they have trouble being able to form them relationships. So finding someone that can be a mentor to a child is extremely important, that they are focusing on that single child and what that child needs. We also feel at Family Patterns Matters that we are there to support the family. So we talk with the parents, we talk with the grandparents, we talk with the other guardians of the children to find out how we can best support them. We don't have food banks and funds for many things to help them, but we can always direct them to county resources that can do that. But even through Connecting Hearts, we have support programs for people who have been through domestic violence or abuse, for those with chronic illness. I am willing, as a life coach and art therapist, to meet with the grandparents or the parents to be able to offer them a little more support and to help them set some goals and things that they could reach. Because, when our families are stressed, it reaches down through all the generations, from the adults through the children. I spent yesterday with my grandchildren who are teenagers and their mom who was moving into their new home. And, there's things that reaches all through all of them. I am very proud of my family because they have broken the chains of generational things that has gone through our family. And we want to be able to help these kids see that they can do that too. It's really hard when they can't see someone like them succeed. So we want to give them role models that have been there. So where some of our youth who have graduated from the program come back to help further later on, it shows that I've been there. I've even been in this chair you're sitting in, and I've made it through, and so will you. That is so incredibly important to the children, to be given examples like that do it. I remember when I wasn't sharing my story with Eating One and was keeping it all to myself, but I was teaching middle school at church for Sunday school for many years. And we had some kids come through, and I knew some of their circumstances were similar to what I grew up in. And so I shared with those particular kids, here's how I grew up. It was a very dysfunctional family. My dad had drug and alcohol and legal problems. He did go to prison more than once. My mom was undiagnosed with bipolar, with mental health issues that were not being treated, and she was a very badly abused mom. And so when I shared that with these kids, they were shocked that somebody they saw and thought had it all together and didn't have a clue what they were going through, really had a clue and knew what they were going through. We do that. We need to do that with these kids. We need to be vulnerable with them and let them know that, okay, you might be here, but I can do it too. It's not important for us to be able to say, oh, look at me, I've made it through all kinds of things you have no idea about, and I'm so successful and you can do it. The idea is to tell them, you did it, I did it, and I'll walk along with you while you do it. I'll show you what, I did, and we'll figure out what works for you, and we'll get you there. So don't be stressed about it. We're here to support you and to help. And that's what I love about Linda's work at Family Patterns Matters, is she supports the whole family. She doesn't just take the kids in a couple of times a month. She works with these families every day. I have seen it in person. And so if you want to get involved locally, I would suggest that you contact Family Patterns Matters, and you can go to their website, which is familypatternsmatter.org. connectinghearts.org or look for them on Facebook. We're always sharing them through the Connecting Hearts Network. We do have our fashion show coming up. I want to remind you about the details for that. This fashion show just went off of my screen, but it is Sunday, September the 17th at 2 o'clock at the Greenville Street Park. The kids will be showing off their new clothes that they picked out for themselves, and we will have lots of kid activities and vendors and fun for you. So bring, a chair, because there's not a lot of space to sit, and enjoy an afternoon of family fun with us at Family Patterns Matters at Greenville State Park. We are looking forward to seeing you, and we love to hear back from you. So if you would like to message us, please feel free in the links that we put with each post, and let us know, how your family's doing and what we can do to help support you. Thanks, Scott. This is Margie from Connecting Hearts Network. I'd like you to take just a moment and listen to Linda Kirkpatrick explain to you what Family Patterns Matters is all about.
Family Patterns Matter works with youth and their families to help overcome barriers that prevent their success. We meet twice a month with mentoring, tutoring, teaching life skills, resilience, gratitude, and kindness. We also bring music and art therapy. Please visit our website at www.familypatternsmatter.org.
Hello, I'm Pina Payne with Contour Mortgage, and we're so excited we have just moved to this new company, and we are located at 560 Noonan Crossing Bypass in Noonan next to Art and Jake's, and we have some great products. Our interest rates are better than any other companies, and we also have some great products for the VA.
You're walking, shopping, or on your favorite trail. You get that feeling somebody's coming up on you. What do you do to be prepared in today's world? Hi, I'm Holly Reese. I'm the founder of Warrior Defenders. As a certified tactical self-defense instructor, I'm specializing in women's self-defense. All women of all ages have the ability to learn how to defend themselves effectively. With technical drills to build their survival skills, you can be your own hero. Classes and private seminars are available. Learn today to have a safer tomorrow. WarriorDefenders.com.
Shopping for insurance doesn't have to be stressful. I'm Christy, owner of Ellsworth Insurance, located here in Noonan, Georgia. We are an independent agency with access to multiple carriers for home, auto, life, health, and commercial insurance. We are your one-stop shop for your insurance needs. www.insurewithellsworth.com, 770-755-7053. We look forward to meeting you soon.
Moving is a big decision. Selling or buying a home in any market, but especially today's, can raise a lot of questions. Hi, I'm Amy with Killingsworth Realty. My husband Todd and I serve the Coweta and local area. Our purpose at our first meeting is to learn your goals, answer questions, and provide resources so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. 678-525-0047 to schedule a free consultation today to discuss your real estate needs. You don't have to do this alone.
You have been tuned in to Heart to Heart Radio, presented by Connecting Hearts Network, connecting women to resources and one another. Located at 3 Bullsboro Drive here in Noonan. Tune in next week for another episode of Heart to Heart Radio with Margie Conway.